What's up, everybody?
Hi, welcome back.
Episode 32.
32.
Yep. Alexa wants to talk about lip gloss.
Well, I always laugh because I put lip gloss. Are there any girls out there who have this, girls or guys, who have this problem where I put lip gloss on and it never fucking stays? It doesn't last, right?
Yeah.
So I maybe have like a 15-minute window. So if you're watching this on YouTube, you will magically watch the lip gloss absorb into my body and not be on my lips anymore.
Well, I mean, it probably absorbs into the lips. And then also, as you talk.
I have a bad habit of like putting my lips together, like
too.
blotting my lips is what you would do, like with like what they used to do back in the day with lipstick and you blot paper towel.
Do they not do that anymore?
I don't know. Makeup has come a really
remember
long way.
our mom used to just do that. But
yeah,
then-
because that was back when before makeup had like crazy advancements. Because like now that shit dries so fast. You can use
true.
like you basically have a paint lip gloss that dries immediately. So where you're like kissing it on contact. That was always something that bartenders said. You either loved it or you hate it because it either doesn't go on any of the glasses or it gets on the glass and it's so fucking hard to take off. Because that's like if you're a bartender, like if you're polishing glasses, like lipstick will last. It's gross. But
it's so funny, like back in the day, what people were putting on their bodies. I mean, in like 20 years, they're going to look back and be like, I can't believe they were using these products.
Right.
But I feel like, you know, back in the 40s, 50s, 60s, they're just like, yeah, it's lead.
Yeah.
It's straight lead.
Yeah, there was a coochie sanitizer that was made with like chlorine. Yeah, there's some crazy shit.
Yeah.
The tampon thing is big. I'm sure when you guys hear about this, it'll be
bigger.
I was gonna say lost adrift in the wind because it never girl stuff never is important. Apparently, tampons have just been. We don't need to get into it because I get so fucking mad when I think about it. For those who don't know, tampons, as of last year, 2023, only started getting tested with like menstrual blood or like blood adjacent.
Yeah, what you saw in the commercials when they'd be like, "Oh, here's a little blue water." Like that's literally the shit they were probably testing it with.
So absorbency, so it's just so stupid.
Yeah.
So you have that, and then also there's just so many toxins and chemicals that are in this delicate little baby womb. It's almost like you guys want it to be fucked up.
Well, I think guys are just don't care about the vagina, even though you should care about the vagina.
Right.
I think guys like. They love the titties and the butt and the vagina. But when you actually like have to break it down, guys are idiots and they don't know. Like everyone's like, where's the clitoris? I'm a gay man and I bet you I could point it out.
Yes.
You know what I mean?
Laser pointer.
There's an area and it's at the top. It's not that crazy. How are guys being like, I don't know how to make my girl come or where her clit is? Like what? I don't know what is going on in a guy's brain when he's going down there to eat a vagina. And what are you doing? You're just like licking a gravy off a plate for Thanksgiving? You know, like you don't have a plan. You don't know anything.
I'm like trying to think about instances where that's happened. Don't really have very many. If you're me and we've already done the vetting for that.
How could you not just like go?
No, what it is it's the hands. It's the fucking hands. You know, like when they're like, you know, DJ, wicka, wicka, wicka. like I've always said, I have always like, it's true. I've always said that I don't like feeling like a popsicle.
Yeah.
Right?
Yeah.
So like there's a sliding scale of things you could do, right? But let me just tell you. If you can't pick up on the signal, if I'm trying to like move your hand in a delicate way where I'm like maybe guiding your hand just gently to the left slightly. It's like you have someone, you're trying to fucking frame up a TV that's crooked. You're just like down a little, nope, too much, back up a little bit.
Yeah.
You know?
Well, I have to do that sometimes when you're with butt sex, you know what I mean? Like you have to be like, I'm sure it's with girls too. I don't know, but you're just like this way or like just a little bit that way. You know what I mean? Like you have to communicate because like, I don't know, but like, I just don't understand if you were a dude and you were like into chicks that you just wouldn't know just
If
what to
you're-
do. Like you couldn't be like, hey babe, when I ate your pussy out for a half an hour, was that nice? Because you said all the sounds and things, but like, what did you like that? What could I do better? You know what I mean?
Yeah, it's kind of like when you're in the moment, that's the time to like have the conversation. Let me tell you, if there is one thing that makes my fucking skin crawl is the idea of having sex and not talking the entire time.
Oh
That's
my God.
crazy. Now,
Yeah.
you see like in the movies where like there's the girl who talks a lot. I talk a lot, but it's not annoying, but there's
Right.
also a conversation to be had.
Yeah.
If you're not telling me that stuff is good, why am I doing it?
Right.
You think I'm just fucking, you think I gotta suck your dick every morning? No, I do it because I like it.
Right.
And I do it because you're like, all day, you're like,
Yeah.
man, I got my dick sucked. And you know what? There's guy standing in front of me on the other side of this little bank teller window. I know he didn't get his dick sucked. I did. I love that. And then all day, what do they say? Empty dick, full tummy, baby. You got a blowy in the morning.
Oh my God.
I wake you up with the good morning blowy, and then I fucking pack your lunch with a cute note and send you off to work,
Oh
bitch.
my God, I
Come
love
on.
it.
I am
love it.
currently
Yeah.
taking applications, all right?
Yeah. No, I mean, how could you not like that? But yeah, I mean, I feel like even with guys and blowjobs, because you're competing with how a guy like masturbates all the time. Because obviously most people are probably doing that more. So the top of the dickhead area with all the glands, it's used to being like, oh yeah, we're doing this thing. Okay, so now I'm going to get hard. And then after you do that thing for a while, I'm going to do the cream moment, you know? But then when you're having sex, it's different, you know? Or if someone's jacking you off, like, you have to tell somebody what you like, unless you're like psychic, you know, and you can pick up on the things. But
For
like,
those of you who are watching, I'm
Yeah.
pointing to me. I am psychic.
but you have to like, I don't know. I just remember I gave this guy a blowjob forever, and I was just like, okay, well, I feel like this has worked before, but
Right.
and then he's like, oh no, slow it down, and I'm like, oh my God, like if you like, it's not hard to be like, hey, I really like just slow blowjob. You know what I mean? It's just whatever you were doing.
Right.
I don't know what the fuck you've been doing for 20 years in your bedroom. Like, tell me so I can do the thing.
See, in my head, I know I'm competing with you doing it yourself, right? So in my head, right, I'm like, getting ready to fucking get out there, play the championship game, baby. I'm
Yeah,
warming up in the bathroom.
it's like
I'm
when
doing
you're-
fucking shoulder rolls.
It's
I'm
like you're playing their,
stretching out my quads, getting my knees ready. Like, bitch, I am in it to take souls. I am in it. So it's like fucking Ariel, bitch.
yeah.
Where she gets her voice snatched. That's me sucking your dick, and I'm like, yes, this
yeah.
is mine. And you know what? I'm gonna take that little soul. I'm gonna put it in my back pant pocket, and I'm taking that shit to work, baby.
Yeah, now you can't talk.
Yeah, great. That's
Well,
actually, I'll say that. That's the one time I'm okay with it is if I'm sucking your dick, you can't, nothing, perfect.
Yeah.
Keep it coming. I would love to know that you can't speak. I'm like, what was,
It's like when you're, when you do like Mario Kart and like you can play that person's ghost for like the best timed race. It's like that's what you're playing
time
against.
trial, yes.
Yeah, you're like, I'm
Yes.
playing your ghost on the jacking off Mario Kart level.
Or it's like when they're swimming and you can see the world record line in front of them, and Michael Phelps got like one hand
You're
put
just
right in
like,
front. That's me, baby.
yeah,
I'm just
you're like-
almost to the end. 8 strokes, and then you reach out and touch the wall.
Yeah, but that's the thing. It's like you have to communicate with what your wiener needs to the person that's doing the wiener stuff or the vagina stuff. Like you can't just, I get it. You know, you might be like older in a relationship for a while and maybe you faked it so much that now you're locked in and they're like, oh yeah, I eat my bitch's pussy out and she loves it when I do. And the girl's like, yeah, so he jams all of his hands in my cooch and I hate it. You know what I mean?
Let me help you. If this is you, you gotta find whether it's a guy or a girl. If it hasn't been working out with your partner and you're like backs against the wall, you gotta fake it all this time. Like
Right.
sex isn't good. One, get out.
Yeah.
That's a big thing for me. Like, I'm a very sex positive person. Like, I need someone with a healthy appetite, honestly. But if that's you and you're kind of in this like weird moment where you either like, I mean, honestly, who doesn't want their sex life to be better unless you're my ex, because I'm awesome. Ugh. You got to go like, hey, you want to go to like an adult shop? You want to like, can we go like walk through that? You know what I mean? Like, there's a lot of cute ones. She-Bop is one we've mentioned before. I just want to give that shout out. It's a very cute, well-to-do. You walk in, good lighting, smells good. Normal associates working. Stuff doesn't feel slimy, dirty. But like you know, you just kind of have to plan it out. And so if you planned out a date and you're like, hey, we're going to go to dinner, we're going to go see a movie. And then on the home, you might make one stop.
Right.
And then you're like, oh, hey, we're going to make that stop. And then once that's kind of the conversation, go to a porn shop. And then that way you can kind of feel things out. Let me tell you, if he's not good at it, get a toy, please, Jesus.
Yeah. Toys
get it in the
really
mix,
good.
baby.
Yeah.
Get it in the mix. Just try it. It's okay. As long as, in my opinion, if I have one, wink, wink, and we're using mine, sure. For whatever reason, if I'm going to a guy's house or he tells me he has toys he wants to use on me, that's kind of weird for me.
Yeah. And also, I don't like the idea of...
It doesn't feel sanitary.
Sanitary, yes. I just don't like the idea that like these have been used on other people.
Correct.
You know, and I get it. You could throw it in the dishwasher or whatever. But like, I don't know.
Oh my God.
I don't know what a microscopic, landscape of a dildo looks like, but I'm pretty sure there's tiny little crevices.
It's porous.
Pores. Yeah. It's like things can get, so that's the only thing. Granted, if you're in getting spit roasted, you're probably getting a bunch of shit anyway, but like.
The one thing that just kind of is like an ick for me is old dick pics.
Oh, yeah.
Like if it's like an old one, because we've talked about this before, because He Who Shall Not Be Named sent me one and it was great. And then like when we kind of sort of started talking later, like we had both deleted photos and then he sent me that fucking photo again. And in my head, I went, that was mine. Right. You took that for me when you went on vacation for your fucking birthday.
Right.
You took that for me. It's been like a year and a half. You still have it. I feel gross because you're using that picture to send it to other people.
Also,
that's gross.
Yeah,
that makes me feel yucky. Now, for whatever reason, different for a girl. Maybe. If I'm showing you the clam, which never happens, that would be different. That's like a personal private. Yeah. But if girls have treasured nudes. Girls have
I think guys also have treasured nudes. I think you get a good pic that you're just happy with. And then you're just like, it's like when parents used to show pictures of their kids out in their wallet.
You mean like the bronze shoes?
Yeah, it's like that. It's like, you're just like, well, I got a couple good ones on hand. The other thing is weird though. Like if you send somebody a picture, it kind of does the metadata. And so sometimes it'll, in your photo reel, it will save it back. Yeah. And like, you'll be like, where did that pic go? And you're like,
2010.
Oh, it's an old one.
Yeah.
But I mean, I don't mind. I mean, I don't know. I don't really care. But if you were like, send me a picture of your cock next to today's newspaper, No,
not even that. Like, I think it's because it was the ex-boyfriend and then we were like chatting again and he sends it to me and it was such a long time ago that I was like, you have that because you think that's prime real estate. You're sending it to other people.
True.
I like want to be flattered because you took it from me. Also, it just like, it made me feel so yucky. Yeah. It was like such an ick moment. So in case you didn't know, if you're going to resend someone something that's old, take a screenshot of it because then it bumps it up to that current time.
Yeah, and crop out the top and bottom.
Mm-hmm. And make sure you have like relatively like
we don't need to see your battery level.
Correct.
Your Wi-Fi.
Correct.
Yeah, and it sucks too because like I have tattoos and I get tattoos at certain times too. So like I have some really cute pictures from like a while back and I'm just like, well, like I want to send it, but like my arm's not finished, so you can tell that's an older picture. Right. But I like it.
Or my hair used to be blue. I got a lot of good shit with blue hair, which kind of feels weird because, it's an archive.
Yeah.
I don't know. For whatever reason, He Who Shall Not Be Named took that photo for me. When I got a resend, I was like, I even clocked him on it. I was like, you still have that? And he's like, what? And I go, you still have that? And he was like, and I want to be like, come to find out he had slept with other people. Like it was this whole thing.
Yeah. It's just wiener pictures are funny because it's just like a regular picture. Like people post certain things, or I've had people go like, "This is my favorite picture of myself," and I'm like, "Oh, really?" Mm-hmm. But like you just whatever it hits that angle or the lighting. But I always find it interesting when some people will be like, "This is my favorite picture," and you're like, "Oh, okay." Like I don't think so.
I have a few photos of my. Well, I'd say I have pretty good camera roll of like shit that I really like.
But I don't know, maybe people get attached and they're just like, well, also I think like it's like like Pokemon cards or Magic cards where you're just like, oh man, I got my range and I like this one a lot, so I'm going to save that one.
That's also another thing.
This one gives me a lot of compliments, so I'm going to pull that one out.
Good power. This one's got a good heal.
I'm going to play this one with this one.
Oh man. Yeah. I think for me, in my mind, I compartmentalize it into two things, right? So like, I made your dick hard. You're sending me a picture of it, aka ex-boyfriend on his birthday vacation by himself.
Exhibit A.
Correct. Huh? Smack the, stick on the
because there's an emotional attachment to that picture.
Versus, girls, if I get out the shower and I look good, I'm taking pictures.
Right.
If my floor is rainbow and the lights are cutting through and if the lighting's A1, I'm taking that picture for myself.
Right.
Will I share it? Maybe, probably. But I'm taking it for myself. I'm not like, oh, I'm taking this for Tommy, and then I'm going to send it to Jim Bob. It's like, it's not like that. Yeah. So to get that photo and like it had the emotional connection, but then having him tell me that like he deleted everything. He's got no videos, whatever.
Oh, no. No guy is ever going to delete all their shit. No way.
Honestly, I don't care. Like, good, because that's the most you ever gonna see again. You got the good one while the getting's good. Yeah. The one thing I do feel validation on, which is just you can't tell me that this ain't how it is. You can't tell me that this ain't how it is.
Yeah.
Because I suck dick so good that every girl after me who sucks your dick, unless by some grace of God you get some, I have to argue I'm not the best. I'm in the top percentile.
Yeah.
So the universe will smite you with a girl who just lollipop, who just a little doesn't like it. So I get validation thinking about, you're probably going to think about me giving you a blowjob for the rest of your life. And you will be damned by that.
Yeah. Yeah. I mean, well, he also is a douchebag. So it's your punishment. But yeah. I mean, like, we were just talking about like all the communication stuff with sex and like the porn shops and things. And it's like, I like when somebody gives me that instant feedback, in the moment. So like if your partner's doing something that you really like, you don't have to bring it up in the moment and be like, oh, I love the thing. But like in the shower afterwards or like the next day or at breakfast, you could be like, oh, I love when you like did the thing with your fingers, or I really like when you did that. And the person goes like, oh yeah, that I know, or whatever. But you're just kind of going like, oh, that thing that you did, that was really cool. Like that really worked for me. Even if they know, like just that positive affirmation of like, this worked. This is what the genitals needed.
Well, it's the puppy training, the little treats. You like the little click, click. Hey, I love that click, click. And then their head goes, oh shit, I gotta do that. Right, I gotta do that more. Mm-hmm.
Well, and with guys too, because they have the prostate, which is in the butt, so like if someone's on their back, you go in and up, but everybody's prostate button is weird.
Anything finger related, I just think about my long nails. So I have to,
but like sometimes people like the stimulation, sometimes you don't. Like sometimes I like it, and then sometimes my body gets all freaked out.
Booty stuff definitely has to be discussed.
Yeah. Well, no, just like if you're gay or whatever. Oh. But like, yeah, chicks don't have prostates, so whatever, you're lost.
I guess, yeah.
But like, yeah, so sometimes you have to tell somebody like that felt really good. But sometimes like if you just like pushed on someone's prostate, it might be overwhelming. It might feel weird. Sometimes you push on people's prostate and they just come like immediately, or they like, well, it's weird. Like some people get the prostate exams, they're just be like, oh God, but like everybody's internal things are different. So you have to kind of tell somebody, hey, I really liked when you were banging on my shit with your, when you're finger banging my prostate, or you might be like, I didn't like that.
Well, it's funny you mentioned like prostate exams because I just went in, what was it, 4 days ago?
Yeah.
I had a lady appointment that I really fucking didn't want to go to, let's be honest. I don't know how often you're supposed to go, but girls, go get your pap. If you're thinking about it, just go do that shit.
If you don't remember when a doctor looked inside of your pussy, you need to make an appointment.
If you don't remember getting shoehorned open, you have to go. And I'm probably not making it feel any better because I'm like,
But also, it's important. Mm-hmm. You don't want to wait. Because the not knowing and just kind of gambling, like you're fine, everything's been fine. Your body and nature does not give a shit.
Right.
When you're like, wow, last summer was really hot, and this summer, no, there's no correlation with things. Just because you've been healthy and your parents have been healthy and you've been healthy does not mean that you're going to be fine. Mm-hmm. You need to get those checks, and it's good to have that baseline.
Right.
So every couple years or whatever, you go, okay, I got checked here. They know it was good, We've talked about it before where I went to Planned Parenthood. God bless Planned Parenthood. They're just an incredible set of human beings. At least in Portland, every location you go to is wonderful. Yeah. All the doctors are wonderful. The doctor who came in to help me said she'd been there for 25 years. Tell me if there's not a bigger emotional hug you get from a coochie doctor that's like, man, I've been looking at coochies for the last 20 years. And you're like, okay, great. You're familiar. Well, and you just when your whole life revolves around vaginas and vagina health and boobie health, these are technical terms. You're going to be able to give people the good treatment. You know how to handle stuff. You're going to be comforting and all those things.
God bless Planned Parenthood. Birth control is their specialty. I had a lot of friends because I have the Paragard, which is the non-hormonal IUD. It's incredible. It's incredible. I have loved it. It has been so lovely.
Just to explain.
Well, you got to learn because you came with me as my support.
So it's just they go in and they put in the copper.
Mm-hmm. So there's two different ones. There's a hormonal one, and then there's one that's wrapped in copper. Now, as you even asked the doctor when we were there a couple days ago, they don't really know how the copper one works. They say the copper one's like a natural spermicide. So an IUD is basically a little T-shaped, little plasticky, whatever. It's got a long string when they put it in. So when we were sitting in the waiting room, you asked me what a cervix was. So just to catch you up with where we were, I needed to go to Planned Parenthood to get a referral for some special gene cancer testing. When I went in, they do that, and it's also a pap smear. So this was several months ago. Got the results back where they had said that it was kind of like an abnormal whatever, and that I needed to schedule a biopsy.
Well, they couldn't, from my understanding, couldn't say yes or no, ruling stuff out, but they also couldn't tell if it was really bad. Mm-hmm. So they just need to kind of go in and check things out and make sure. Because a lot of times, even with HPV and STD stuff or STI stuff, they go in with a Q-tip and they're like egg beater. And then they're like, boop, they test that shit and they're like, So we need to get in and investigate. Yeah.
So catch up real time. Ryan and I are sitting in the waiting room at this appointment that I had to schedule this biopsy. And Planned Parenthood's great, man. The nurses who take you back, everyone is just so lovely. And Planned Parenthood is such a sacred thing that has been tried to be taken from us so many times. Where why would you not want sexual health, right? Why would you not want testing?
Just education, just
just a safe place you can go.
Right.
So we were sitting in the waiting room and you had asked me what a cervix is because that's what I had to get the biopsy on was, they come in, and that's also, if you have a partner and they are going in for a pap, anything fucking other than a regular schmegular routine checkup, you as a partner should either be going with them or celebrating them that evening because that shit is fucking scary, man. It is so scary to go into a room and I was laughing because I was like, you get to see the stirrups because they pull these things out for girls like this and you put your heels in it and then you got to bring your booty right to the end of the table.
Yeah.
And it's a whole thing. But you asked me what the cervix was and I was like, well, It's basically the wall at the end of a tunnel. And that's literally how the doctor explained it. And I was like,
Yeah.
right on it, baby.
Yeah. Because I looked at the map and I was like, oh, it's like
my God, the
inside
map?
butthole. Yeah.
Oh my God.
It's like you got the little tunnel and then you have a little butthole, inside butthole. It's like you have a outside butthole and an inside butthole.
Right. And then there even goes further. So one butthole past that one is where the IUD is, which is in the uterus.
It's like an airlock, right? You got space and then you got the inside chamber.
Right.
And then you have another chamber.
Right. And the thing I will say was when it comes to birth control, because I know we've talked about it before, it's great.
Yeah.
To have something in my body that's non-hormonal, because if you're watching the YouTube right now, sorry, my guns are in the way. I'm scarred from the Nexplanon. That's one where they punch your skin and put this hormones in you, and it basically that tricks your body. Man, that made me feel crazy.
Yeah.
It like alters like your chemistry of your body. So girls have been taking birth control since they were like 16, 17, and they get, into their late 20s or like my age and they stop taking that birth control, and whoever partner they've been with now, it's not the same chemicals anymore.
Right.
Which is crazy.
Yeah. Birth control, like, I don't know. I don't know why it's like such a big deal. Some states you can't get it or it's hard or people like don't want to talk about it. Parents don't want to talk about it with their kids.
Right.
It's like, you need to have these conversations so people can protect themselves and be safe. People are going to have sex. The body is designed to have sex. It will trick you.
Oh, yeah.
It will trick you in the moment. You're with somebody
Endorphins.
cool and you're like, oh man, I really like this person. Should we use a condom? You know what I mean? Like, the body will play tricks with you because it wants to have babies. So it will play trick. And you just, oh, that's fine. Oh, babe, don't worry. I'll pull out. Pull out, bitch. What are you talking about?
I had a friend who that was the only form she'd been with her boyfriend since they were in college, like freshman, probably before college. The only method they ever use is pull out. She has kids now, but that's because they like didn't pull out. Bitch, for years, like 10 years they're together, use the pull out method. Now they're actively have kids, so it wasn't like he was a dud or what, you know what I mean? That's like, crazy.
Also, pulling out is never as good as leaving it in.
Also, girls, do you know it fucks with your brain? Do you know it fucks with your fucking chemistry of your brain? Because you're basically like, let's say
you're asking for the cum and you don't get cum.
If you don't talk about it in a medical way and it's like an exchange of energy, so you come inside me, my like body chemistry craves you for like the next couple days. They also say that sperm lives in your body for like 7 days.
Oh, yeah.
So
it gets in there. Like,
what the bestie wanted me to make sure that I fucking told all of you was when this shit was crazy and he who shall not be named, he'd like want to be my friend and then we'd sleep together and then he would literally be like, I'm going MIA for a couple days. Right. The bestie said, hey, if you're not gonna treat me this way, you got to come pick up your kids.
Yeah, for real. You can't treat me like shit. Your cum is literally dying inside of me.
If I have your sperm still living inside of me, I get a 7-day grace.
Yeah. Yeah. A part of you is in my butthole right now.
Yeah. Well.
Or womb or whatever. Yeah. I don't know. I just find it to be just so weird that the pull-out method. You're just like, I mean, yeah, sure. You're just like, oh, yeah. Yeah. Like porno, whatever.
But that's why I have the IUD, because then it doesn't necessarily matter. Like if you pull out, you use a condom, whatever. I can't tell you how many condom babies there are out there.
Yeah.
They're not guaranteed.
Right.
They're not foolproof.
Well, and the wiener pre-comes, it's not like a guy is sitting there with a lever and then right before you come, he goes, all right. And this big door opens and all the cum comes out. I have been with people that come a lot. They pre-cum a lot. People that don't.
That's the best part, baby.
And I don't know how you could just gamble with a tiny little piece of skin. It's like that big in your piss hole, right? Inside here, that's determining when all the stuff comes out. And you think you're just above it? No.
Yikes. Yeah.
Get on birth control so you can just leave that shit in.
IUD is great. The pill is really hard. It's really, really tough emotionally. If your partner is on the pill, you better be fucking rubbing their feet every fucking day. They're literally changing their body chemistry in order for you to maybe kind of jizz in them. What? It's true.
Yeah, for real.
So if you can get non-hormonal birth control,
Right.
it's the best. It's called the Paragard. Now, here's the thing. I'm the perfect
Specimen,
little client for it. Yeah, because it can give you really bad cramps. It can have, side effects, but it's not a chemical that's like in your body. But if you can stand it and your body can tolerate it, get the IUD. I don't care which one. They're fucking fantastic.
Right.
Go to Planned Parenthood. They specialize in it. If you have to go to your normal doctor, that's totally fine. Regardless, do it. Planned Parenthood specializes in it.
Right.
I asked them. They numb me when they put it in. The lady did it literally textbook because another doctor said that later. So,
well, and what works with her might not work for you.
Right.
You might get it in your body and be like, I feel like ass. Like we can take this stuff out. So like, don't be discouraged if you try something and you don't like it. But you have to give things a good shot. Like I have arthritis, really aggressive arthritis. I get all these medications and sometimes it doesn't work and I got to try some other shit out.
Right.
You have to give it a good shot because sometimes it's just a body. Bodies are gross. They're weird. Everybody's body's weird. My ankle, they did like a scan on it and they're like, oh, you have all these extra tendons or like muscles and stuff. And I was like, that's weird. And they're like, actually, it's not. You know what I mean? And you're like, oh, so my body just decided to do some random shit. But like everybody's body's different.
right.
Just because you see it in the, encyclopedia or the internet and you're like, this is a skeleton and with muscles, everybody's bodies are completely different.
That's just a rough estimate.
Yeah. It's just the idea of a body. But people's pussies and dicks and buttholes and everything's just completely random.
Yeah, and the thing was I really didn't want to fucking go to this appointment. I did not want to get sliced and diced. Ryan made me. I'm really happy I did because the doctor still did the things she needed to do, but was very reassuring and said nothing looked abnormal. And, that part of your body also kind of heals itself.
Right.
So the one thing I would say is the scariest part of the journey is just the beginning, the unknown.
Yeah.
I would rather know and be able to take steps to make things better than to just like pretend it doesn't exist, because by the time you do have to acknowledge it, it might be so big that like you're literally screwed.
Yeah. And with certain cancers and like HPV, you need to treat it early. So if you're just kind of like, la, 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 I'm not paying attention, like nature and your body does not care. Cancer does not care. HPV does not care.
Right.
So you need to go in and get things checked. So I go in because of the medication I take for my arthritis weakens my immune system. So if stuff like HPV or any like STI, my body has a harder time getting over that because they get infusions every 6 weeks. And with HPV, there's kind of low grade and high grade. And there's certain strands or strains that will kind of morph into like precancer, can cause precancer. And there's some low risk ones. And normally your body just gets rid of it.
Right.
So most of the time your body's like, we got rid of that shit. Don't worry about it. But with certain people and with me, those can hang around longer. And so I just go and get tested. If there's any weird areas that need to get treated, they treat it. Sometimes my body just gets rid of it, just like normal people. But I never want to go. I always hate going. But I'm always glad I go because like if there's anything bad, they just take care of it in the moment.
Right. And you have a plan.
Yeah. And then same with like in her situation, you kind of go in and you get a baseline and we're still kind of waiting to see, swabby,
Right.
like
the eyebrow spoolie.
Yeah.
So you go in and they have all of the accoutrements like set up for the biopsy, right? And it's like all on the thing. It's almost like you're getting a tattoo, but not.
Right.
And so there's this long fucking thing. And at the very end of it is like an eyelash or an eyebrow spoolie. So like what you would comb your lashes out with, or like what you would put mascara on with, the little fucking, it's called a spoolie.
Yeah.
And it was there. And I didn't realize until I fucking sat up when she was all done. But she did like a little, like you're rinsing an Nalgene bottle out. You're just like a little scrubby
like
scrub, like
class,
all around. Yeah, I got to touch all the sides. And I'm watching her basically like break this off. And I swear to God, I'm pretty sure I go, oh, that's the eyebrow spoolie.
Yeah.
And she goes, what? And I go, yeah, I saw that when I first sat down. And then I just was like, oh man, that was kind of embarrassing, but whatever.
Yeah. But I mean, like when I would go get STI tests at this place downtown, it was like Multnomah County Health Department. They used to do like the pee hole Q-tip, and it was a tiny Q-tip. So it was like a third of a regular like Q-tip in your ear, but they just put that shit in your dick hole all dry, and it was not great. And then they do a butthole one. They put it in your butthole and they spin it around.
Tua?
Yeah, I know, right? No,
that's the correct pronunciation. In case you're wondering, it's a. That's what they're talking about. All right, since we're talking about fucking sucking dick, it's not Haktua. It's like I'm
right.
Just to be clear. And God bless that girl.
Yeah.
Slow clap for America, man. That was a good moment.
I know. I love how guys are kind of like, oh yeah, it's great. You're like, well, yeah. People like blowjobs.
Yeah.
What if she was talking about a butthole? She was like, yeah, before I eat ass.
Whatever, bitch. Who cares? Who cares? You got to pay to get entry into that show.
But with the STI tests and stuff, like, they do like the mouth swab or like the butthole one. And it's never great, but it's good to just kind of have that baseline of what's going on.
And that's also the thing with like getting tested between partners. Right? Go get tested. Go to plan. If you've never been, go get tested. Right. There's no reason why you shouldn't go do it. If you've been in a relationship for a really long time, just go get tested, because what happens is it provides you a baseline. Mm-hmm. So if you contract something, one, you know about it, so you're not going to pass the spread on. Right. But then two, you kind of know what motherfucker you done got it from.
Right.
So.
Well, and sometimes you can have stuff like you might not have any symptoms.
Right.
So you can have an STI, chlamydia, gonorrhea, whatever, and just
literally not know.
Never know. Or maybe you had it burned a little bit for a couple days, but now it doesn't, or whatever, and like never think about it ever again.
Bitch, I had a doctor look me dead in the face and tell me that she has had patients that have come in that have had chlamydia for 10 years and had no symptoms.
Wow. Yeah.
It's crazy.
Look up online. You can find free clinics. If you're gay, there's plenty of resources for, you can go in anonymously.
Right.
There's somewhere I would just like go and wait, and it was just like you just showed up and they just took you in these rooms and they would do all the things.
Yeah, go with your girlfriend. Go with your girly pops, schedule an appointment, go together. They'll let you go in the same room together. Right. It's just be familiar with it. Right. It needs to not have such a stigma because it's so important.
Right.
It's so important.
Like if you get positive results too, it doesn't mean that you're gross. Mm-hmm. I mean, like you could get a positive result for herpes, but that doesn't mean like that you're a gross person. Herpes can be a cold sore. It can be something that you like with herpes, you can have it, but you've already gotten rid of it.
For the most part, like, don't be surprised if you have HPV unless it's later stage, but don't be surprised if you have HPV or herpes.
Yeah.
That's not crazy because people have it.
And you think of like herpes as like, oh my God, sores. But literally they do the test and it says you've either had it and gotten rid of it or you currently have it. And then that's literally
the gene.
It. Mm-hmm. And it can't really tell if it's like cold sore herpes or it's just such a vague test. And I had a friend that was just so down. He was like, and I'm like, dude, I just learned all about this stuff. And it is a very general, vague test. It doesn't mean you're a gross person. Mm-hmm. Like, look into it because it's not as bad as we were.
Well, there used to be two different types of herpes. There was mouth and coochie. Right. Or mouth and private part. Yeah. Right. So as time went on, we do like to mix and mingle. So now it's kind of the same thing because you could have the mouth one on your coochie. You could have the coochie one on your face. Like it's just kind of the luck of the draw. But regardless, go get tested. Yep. The time's going to pass by anyways. I had to go, which means you have to fucking go also.
Right. And if you haven't had a colonoscopy and you're I think it's over 45 now. Get your butthole looked at, please.
Just go do it, yeah.
I don't know what it is with guys in their buttholes, but like, get your hole looked at. Get all of your holes checked. Ears, eyes. Well, you don't have holes in your eyes, I guess, for your tears, right? But like, get your throat looked at. Get a throat swab. Get your dick hole and your butthole looked at. Get your pussy looked at. Like, it's not a big deal.
It feels so much better to be on the other side, to have crossed over to where you're just like, oh shit, like this really big, huge, scary thing really happy that he'd made me do it, or else I wouldn't have gone.
Right.
Like I would have just, I wouldn't have gone. I guess in a year from now, if I had found out that I had something, knowing that I could have been fixed,
Right,
like treating it in the past year, it would be so hard. And honestly, it's not for you. It's for your family. It's for your pets.
Yep.
Like you don't go get tested for you. If you don't feel empowered, like, I don't want to go for your pets.
Right.
Go for your family. You know what
Your
I mean?
house
Because,
plants.
yeah.
Well, every person, so our mom died of breast cancer in 2010.
And they found it late.
Yeah.
They
But
found it really
every
late.
person that gets cancer that ends up dying or like it gets really serious, they all probably wish that they would have caught it sooner. And some of them don't get caught sooner. Like our mom didn't really have any symptoms really until she got her breast mammogram.
Yeah.
But like everybody wishes that they would have, I just should have gone in. Same with your car. Your car is rattling a little bit and you're like, it's fine. And then all of a sudden you're on the highway and you're like, fuck, can you come get me?
Right.
Like, so it's the same with your body. Get your oil checked.
Mammograms too. That's also one where you like feel, because you're feeling for like gravel.
Right.
Because you can feel your little booby mass, but you're feeling for like little gravel things. So
Same with the testicles. You know, like roll them around. Feel if there's any lumps. Don't be scared. And if you do have a thing, just go get it looked at. Like, you don't even have to go to your regular doctor. Go see someone else. Go see a specialist. If you don't want to talk to your regular doctor for whatever reason, you should have a doctor you can talk to. But like, I can't tell you how many like women doctor where I'm like, here's my butthole, put a swab in my dick hole. You know what I mean? Like, it doesn't matter. Everyone's professional. And if they're not, they shouldn't be your doctor.
It's true.
We did want to talk about the Kendrick beef since we're talking about pussies and buttholes.
Since we're talking about lady beef,
Yeah.
we'll just transfer over into real beef. Oh, man.
You're going to listen to this later too, because obviously this is
Happy Halloween.
Happy Halloween. Yeah.
We're going to talk about, man,
Back in the day, the Kendrick Drake beef.
It was, I'm so happy I was alive to experience it. I was at his Juneteenth concert. Dr. Dre came out and the energy of the, man, it's crazy.
The whole beef is just wild.
So there's a picture somewhere, because we don't talk to our dad anymore, but there's a picture of where my dad had me sitting on his lap because he had the little mixtape. He'd like make a little fucking mixtape station, whatever. And there's a picture of me sitting on his lap and I have his headphones on. So it's super cute. And so I feel like we kind of grew up on like 90s music. Some of the very first music I remember listening to was like Waterfalls from like TLC.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
Our dad used to always make like mixtapes and he'd have like a mixer. So it was always really inspiring to grow up with that.
But I remember growing up listening to Notorious B.I.G., Tupac. I remember all of that music like very vividly, driving around with my dad, mixtape in. And it's like, I knew some of the Notorious B.I.G. songs, some Biggie Smalls shit, like earlier than I should have. Yeah. So growing up kind of, you know, in the 90s hip hop, the fucking Biggie Tupac feud.
Yeah.
I feel like people forget about that drama when it comes to like the scale of how bad that shit was versus like the beef with Kendrick and Drake where they're alluding to stuff, right? Where back in the day, they're like, hey, I fucked your bitch. And you're like, oh shit. And you're listening to it with like wired headphones. You're like, this is crazy.
Well, it was very East Coast, West Coast. A lot of people say it was manufactured, but I think it was real. But like, it was, I think it was more a generalized beef between the coasts. Like you kind of had like, you know, people in LA and you had people in New York. But like this current Kendrick and Drake thing is just wild.
Right. There was no social media that connected and unified all of us, right? So you're like, oh, fuck West Coast, you know?
Yeah.
And so I grew up on like Bay Area music, like very heavily influenced. And I've always thought that I danced really fucking different than everyone else. Man, my heart felt so full when I watched those motherfuckers dancing on stage with Kendrick Lamar. Because I go, oh shit, yeah, I learned how to dance from Mac Dre and fucking E40. And that was like my childhood. So seeing everyone who was like involved in
Yeah.
this, man.
Well,
It was
just,
such a production.
It was such a good moment to see that unified, just everyone was there for a single goal to just show, like, I don't know, people think about like Compton and they're just like, oh, it's gangs and it's bad, it's poor people, whatever. But like, there is a culture there and rap music is so ingrained in that. But like, when you have Drake, I mean, his stuff's okay. I never really liked Drake stuff. Like every so often I would hear something that was good. But what I think Kendrick did was he kind of pointed out how kind of cartoony and industrialized, you know, like
Well, when
Drake stuff is.
I remember I graduated in 2009. I watched Degrassi real time.
Right.
I watched when it was Aubrey Graham, Degrassi. His character wanted to be a rapper. Right. So you kind of follow his career and how Degrassi goes. It's like, it's real school years.
Right.
So the kids graduate and then new kids come in. So when he was out, I vividly remember hanging out with my bestie. We were going to go hang out at the pool hall and we were in the drive-thru at McDonald's getting all the munchies for everyone. And all of a sudden this song came on, Best I Ever Had. And like we listened to it and it was cute and like whatever. And like it blew up. And I always was really confused. And then when I finally fucking saw whose song it was, I was like, oh shit. You mean the guy from Degrassi? Oh shit.
Right.
And so it was kind of felt almost manufactured from the start because I'm like, is this just a continuance? Well, it's just like a continuation of him from the show.
Well, I think he kind of took his somewhat success and was able to kind of turn that into a thing. And like his stuff was good at you know, people like it. Obviously, he's like super successful.
I know a couple people that are like very, very diehard fans.
Right.
And the one thing I would say to you would be, you can still listen to music. You can
Right,
still like the
right.
music, right? I wasn't really bought into it too much. I
Right.
saw Kendrick in concert when he toured with SZA. It was in a very predominantly white concert. Like it wasn't like he wasn't getting the energy he needed.
Right.
And so I hadn't really followed along with the beef and what was going on. And I laughed with one of my coworkers at work. I'm like, can you give me the millennial update? Because I have no fucking idea what's going on.
We saw Kendrick at Austin City Limits and he was amazing. Also just did the Super Bowl. So everyone was like acting like Kendrick came out of nowhere, but like his last album is a masterpiece. So good. All of his stuff is great.
I remember listening to his music, like genuinely, when I was like a freshman, sophomore, junior. I remember listening to his music and they were like, we played it at every house party back when that was a thing. Like any kind, if you're drinking, you were playing his fucking shit, man. Pull up, drank. Like that was the shit. I grew up on that. So you have this beef that goes back and forth. They're basically like answering each other back. And like, you barked up the wrong fucking tree because Kendrick has not only been in the game for a really long time, grew up on the West Coast, like talked about how, you know, you would see, you know, big stars now drive around with their mixtape and pop the fucking trunk open and be hanging out. And like, that was the culture of that music. Drake basically blew up in his own area, but then, you know, there's not really comparing, right?
Well,
it would be
yeah,
like comparing
not a lot of
soccer
crossover.
player. You'd be like comparing a soccer player to like a rugby player.
Right.
Like it's similar, but it's not the same. It's not rooted in the same thing.
Well, I think Drake thought that they were making the same music, but Kendrick is making this really soulful, meaningful. His stuff has intention. It's also
generational.
You know, he's got some jokey songs or whatever, maybe some hits, but like his stuff is really smart. He's trying to uplift people. Like clearly he can do whatever the fuck he wants.
Right.
But his music, he's trying to bring people up or let people know the struggles. Like he's got that one song where he's like fighting with his girlfriend or whatever. And like the first time I heard that shit, I was just like, what the fuck? Like that, you just feel that emotion. And then they like, I don't know, spoil it, but you know, like there's an ending to it and you're just like, wow, like what brought you to make this? And then also want to share it for people. Like it's very, very, very cool.
The artistry. And so, man, it's like anything you can do, I can do better.
Yeah.
Quotations said by Kendrick Lamar.
Yeah.
Like, it's crazy. So they have all this beef. Drake basically alludes to Kendrick making music for slaves or like making slave music.
Right.
what a better day than to come out on Juneteenth with a fucking West Coast concert, baby.
Well, I was on YouTube when he dropped like both of his last 2 tracks. I remember I was on YouTube and I was like, what? No way. Like, and he dropped the Not Like Us, and you're just like, man. But I just find it hilarious that like Drake just kind of thought he was killing it. Like he thought he came out with a video of like the van that was in Kendrick's whatever, like album cover, and he's attacking it from this completely different side. And then he dropped his shit, and then Kendrick was like, "Oh yeah, I got another one."
And it was all just like
it was perfectly well executed,
planned, and like it makes me feel like the mom on Christmas, right? You know the mom on Christmas where there's the meme and like the kid drinking the coffee. It's like that's like Kendrick watching everything happen, right? Taking the bait on all the shit. Obviously, someone on the other side was giving Kendrick fucking information.
Right.
It's chef's kiss, right?
Yeah.
So then you have this fucking concert on Juneteenth. And it just like the layers of it all, right? Concert on Juneteenth. Obviously, it is now a federally recognized holiday, right? So you have concert on Juneteenth. That's one box that you check. Amazon sponsored it. That's like the clash of like the big business and then like West Coast, like ghetto, like money, but no money. Check that box.
Yep.
He got all of these people. I was just, because if you go on YouTube, you can watch his portion, his hour and a half, or the whole concert's like 3 hours, like 3.5. Man, the whole concert is incredible. Yeah. He brings up people who are from the West Coast, Cuzzos. They're great. The girl group he brought on, I found them on Instagram. They're so funny. Go listen to their shit.
He just was doing something for the people, and I think that's what rap music is supposed to do. You know, I mean, people can do whatever they want, but he's just really smart, likes to give back. I mean, obviously they're having this feud, but like he just attacked it from such a different angle.
Well, also to give Nipsey Hussle, like he gave Nipsey Hussle, like I get chills thinking about it. He gave Nipsey Hussle time as if he was really there. And it's like to have like Mustard, who's basically, you know, putting on a majority of like the beginning opening part of the show before Kendrick came out. And he basically says like, I want you to sing this so loud that he can hear it. And it's like so loud and so powerful that like, that was an incredible moment for me that like unifies the West Coast.
Well, there's so much tragedy and so many people that have died that I just feel like it was a nice kind of reset just mentally for people to have just like a breath of fresh air of like, we don't have to be doing all these things. Like we have a singular goal here to hate Drake. You know what I mean? Like,
yes,
it's such a beautiful moment to, I don't know, just be a part of that, just be able to see that.
To be able to witness it and just know that you're kind of alive in the same time. Because people still talk about, you know, Tupac, Biggie. We still play that music. And so that day, you know, there's the underlying of like, in my opinion, like, haha, Drake, you're the reason why we're doing this. But aside from that, that's basically it, right? Because we don't know necessarily all the little fucking ins and outs until you see all of the really fucking smart, intelligent things that happened. Like I have the hyperfixation where I literally went back and rewatched his set probably every day for like a week because it's just so empowering. And it's just such a cool moment because I love the fucking I love West Coast music, Bay Area music. So one of the guys goes up and you kind of see him dap up Kendrick and he leans in and he like kind of whispers something a little long to him. And then later in a video I was watching, he talked about how the guy was like, I went as a spectator. I went as a spectator. I went to watch. I went to show up for the West Coast. I went to show support for Kendrick and the openers. He goes, but when Kendrick pointed at me and said, I need you on stage, he goes, I can't say no. He's like, one, I can't say no, but also two, you're including me in this like unified moment. Like I just have chills every time I talk about it. Cause like people want to say like, oh, he doesn't like Drake. It's so far beyond that that it's funny.
Yeah. It's also funny because like, I mean, when you're that famous, you have people that are like gassing you up and they're probably all there like, oh yeah, we're going to fucking shit on Kendrick. And oh man, it's going to be great. You're winning. Like, I can't tell you how many people, podcasts and morning shows, people were like, Kendrick's done, Drake's winning. And then he just dropped his 2 things and they were so well done that everyone was like, oh shit. And like, people were like, oh, Drake could drop. And no, like.
At this point, you would have to have like a Canadian Olympics.
The problem with beefs is like, you could have just apologized. Like Kendrick said, it's not top 3, it's top me. All right. Well, how are we gauging that? You can be confident and be like, I'm the best motherfucking drag queen on the planet. What are we doing? Ticket sales, Instagram followers, how many people have come up and showed you tattoos of you know what I mean? There's no way to really say that. But Drake obviously got upset. J. Cole got upset. And then J. Cole was like, yeah, okay, I'm good. And then Drake continued to go at it. And he could have just been like, hey, I'm really sorry.
Not even an apology.
Yeah, just anything. Just
give Kendrick his flowers. Right. It's not necessary. You guys aren't in the same genre-y, whatever. Right. You guys aren't on the same level. Again, it's like comparing 2 different sports, come from 2 different places. And it's just, at any point, you could have been like, I see you, dude. Like that. You wrote a song about my kids and me, bitch. Clap, clap. Like, you have to give him some kind of something. And because you didn't and you doubled down, he does the Juneteenth concert. That was honestly, I mean, how many concerts do you think you and I have been to? Over 200. Yeah. Over, like, genuinely a lot. I feel so blessed that was available for me to watch. Yeah. That was the craziest, like, and that was the thing too, because I was like buzzing the next day at work, man. I was like, dude, this concert, like, you got to watch it. And I feel like it just relit this Bay Area fire in me where I was like, fuck, I need to listen to all this music again. And like, really just like soul cleansing. Right. The
music industry is oversaturated anyway, because you could just be on SoundCloud and blow up overnight. There's Spotify and Apple Music and Tidal. There's so many things and everyone has access to the things. So like, it's almost like, you know, again, oversaturated. But it was really cool to have Kendrick come in and.
Well, and I got really interested when I was hearing everyone talk about like live time when the concert was happening. Everyone was talking about how like he played his song. Yeah. 5 to 7 times. It was like 7 if you want to be honest. Yeah. And everyone's like, ugh. That if you are like. If you have any negative thoughts about him playing that song more than once, more than twice, you've never been to a good concert before. Right. I'm just going to call it out right now.
Yeah.
I have to explain this because he played the song the first time, first 2, right? He doesn't give them the They're Not Like Us, right? He doesn't give them the chant. He plays the first 2. People in the crowd are chanting, right? One of the most beautiful things that I don't even think people really understand. The second time he played the song doesn't count because the crowd sang the entire song. Yeah. Go back and watch it. The crowd sings the entire song, the entire first 2 verses verbatim. Yeah, and he crazy. Chimes in maybe once or twice to like just, get him back on the cadence. They knew everything. And so then he's acting like it's the end, blah, blah. And people are screaming in the concert. Like if you could only understand, because you can, when they take their ear out, that's when they're trying to like listen to what everyone's saying. Yeah, because they're basically getting everything, lyrics, whatever. And then he plays it the 3rd time. And I'm just at home like literally like this, just like, because I just imagine what it would be like to be there and have him play it the 3rd time. They do the chant. He says the stuff. Yeah. He doesn't go all the way. And you hear everyone chanting like, oh, and it's just, again, it's not even the Drake part. Like when I think about it, I'm not like, I just think about it like you have all of these people who are now unified over the same kind of sort of thing. Right. At that point, I don't think he had any idea that they were going to play it so many times. Right. Like I don't think he had it written down like, oh, we're going to play it 5 times. That's why he brought everyone on stage. That's why he was calling up all, like that I think warmed my heart the most was when people were talking about Russell Westbrook. Yeah. And now he's like a grumpy, he's got to be a Virgo. I haven't checked. I'll look into it. But he's just like got like a mean face on all the time. And he was up there and people said like, that's Black Boy Joy. He was up there dancing. Right. And that's when I'm like, oh my God, I dance like that. Like if I was out there, I'd be killing it with them.
Yeah. Just, I don't know, just a really cool moment. I'm just glad that it worked out really well. I'm glad that there wasn't any like other drama. Right. Like everyone was there. just, I don't know, just have a good time and just show that culture that I feel like gets diluted a lot. I feel like they're like, oh, this person got shot, or oh, drugs, or oh, gangsta, and that whole message gets diluted. But yeah, the beef is just hilarious because it's just like two countries going to war.
Right.
You know what I mean? Two villages going to war, and you're like, all right, guys, we're gonna get them, and they're like, all right, well, we like literally didn't go to bed, and we crept into your fucking place, and we took over your shit.
Right.
So
capture the flag. We have the flag.
Sorry, you know.
I like that he was able to give Nipsey his moment.
Right.
And he said, you know, we've been fucked up since Nipsey died. And he goes, we've been fucked up since Kobe died. And it just was like kind of such a unifying moment. And like, I'm not going to lie, I cried because it just was like being a part of it and growing up with that music. At that point, like, I'm not even thinking about like the beef, right? I'm not even thinking about none of it, right? And so then you have that concert and it's just like,
yeah.
And so good.
Yeah. And I'm curious to see if Drake's going to do anything else. I mean, hopefully everybody in his camp is just like, dude,
there's a video going around, man. There's a video going around. We watched it and laughed before. And it's this guy. And he was basically talking about like when white people know about the drama.
Yeah.
And these two white guys are like, man, you got Drake. You better pick up golf. Like you got other stuff to do.
Yeah. You just like, I don't know. What an overestimate of, you know, but again, that's just what happens. People get into beef and then they all say the things and then people go like, I think this person won. And then at this point, you're just kind of like.
And it's not even that Kendrick won because of the, you know, stuff that he's trying to basically accuse Drake of, right?
Right.
He won by the fucking mastery of it all. He won He won by how strategic he was. He won by the concert.
Yeah.
Like the one thing that was controversial was his concert kept selling out and then tickets would open up and sell out again. So it's not confirmed, but it was mentioned that they were refunding tickets that were outside of California.
Right.
Because Kendrick was quoted saying, I don't want influencers at my concert. This isn't for them.
Yep.
This concert is for the West Coast. And that was just so beautiful and like such a cool moment that people there, you could just tell everyone loved it. And we kind of thought that was the end, right? You're like, oh man, that was like, you're just like, tasty morsels, baby. And then he drops the fucking music video on July 4th, which I heard. And again, all of this is speculation, right? These are all like things that people have basically said. It's not like Kendrick gave us a fucking list of all of the burns and shit that he put in. But he's doing like at the concert, he did like his dance where he's got the Hotline Bling dance and he does it twice. And you're just like, you don't catch it right away.
He's very smooth with the Easter eggs, with just his little like things that he's dropping in there. So you're not catching everything right away, but you can tell that he's putting a lot of thought and effort into everything. Everything has an intention. Everything has a meaning. And you can't go to war with somebody like that because Drake just would do like a song and drop it and he'd be like, yeah, take that, bitch.
Because you're basically against the entire coast.
Yeah. And then Kendrick's like, well, so I actually did like 5 songs and I'm just kind of waiting to see what you were going to do. So I'm actually going to do this. And then
this. Like he's playing Yu-Gi-Oh.
Yeah. And you're just like, fuck. Like, but that, you know, he just, I don't know, when you get that big, you probably just don't think that you can be taken down. What Kendrick did was he kind of like pointed out things that people were like, oh yeah, actually Drake's music is kind of corporate and mainstream, you know, like, oh yeah, I guess I like rap music, but maybe what he's doing isn't. And so he kind of just flipped it around. And so everyone was like, oh yeah, I guess I don't really like Drake anymore.
Well, now that we've told you about it, go back and watch Kendrick's set. And it's if you just heard that and you didn't see it, I'm literally doing the mind blown emoji. I'm doing the mind blown because every song he sings, it just basically shows you how long Kendrick hasn't liked him. I'm serious. He plays DNA.
Yeah.
He plays Humble.
Right.
He plays all these songs where you kind of listen to the part that he plays because it's not the entire song. And you're like, wait a minute. Yeah, DNA. You're talking about how this is encoded in your DNA because you're from the West Coast. And it gets worse. When YG was there, people said that one of Drake's best songs was a song he had with YG. And so YG is basically there with like 2 middle fingers up.
Yep.
And, you know, in this music video, what I thought was so beautiful was how he featured so many people from Cali.
Yep.
He featured that dance team. Because when you saw them at the concert, the guy with the clown, I know who he is because, again, of the company. And he has this like dance studio and he was in the music video. So when you watch the concert, you're kind of like, oh, that's cool. But then when you see them in the music video, you go, oh shit, you guys started filming this probably before the concert.
Right.
You guys all get featured. All of these fucking kids who grew up in this troupe are now on a fucking music video that has a gajillion views. And then you have all of Cali. And in the very beginning, they show you basically the whole square that they're standing in. And they have like, I'm like just fucking fangirling watching it because every scene was different. He gave every single kid in that dance troupe their own moment on stage. Right. You have the girl in the restaurant and she's like, it was all
it's
so
very
good.
well done.
And at the very fucking end, man, you see the crowd. And the whole time I see the crowd, I'm like, dude, could you imagine having people scream a song, like all the words? And it kind of goes in and out. And at the very end, you watch it fucking... I didn't catch it till the very fucking end, bitch. The Easter egg of camera pans in and Kendrick's there like this.
Yeah.
In the middle. And he's in the middle of people chanting his song is insane.
Yeah.
And at the very end, he's in the all white and he's smiling and he's waving. And I heard it was because Kendrick dropped that song when Drake was at the white party. So halfway through the white party, they strategically, allegedly, released the song. And that's why Kendrick's in an all white. And he's just sitting there and he waves and he backs up because allegedly he cooked you. That's why he's in white the whole time. All of this was strategically planned.
I'd love to be just sitting in there with him.
Fly
everyone's
on the wall,
like,
baby.
Why don't we do this? Because that will be this. You know, it's very like, you know, Da Vinci Code where people are just like, oh, that thing means that, which actually circles back to that. And you're just like, damn, like, the thought is just so good because you don't have to do any of that. But I just love that he's just like,
it's just the artistry.
I'm going to tell you a story, but also there's an underlying story and then more shit. So like,
and then my outfit, and you compare my outfit to Tupac, but it also looks like him in Hotline Bling. And the chain I'm wearing is like Tupac, but not.
But also like what's genius about it too is with all of the stuff that he's been doing, you get all the fan reactions and the podcasts, we're talking about it, but just anytime somebody picks up on that stuff, it's like a little treat, but then they get to share that out and other people go like, oh shit, I forgot. I didn't see that. Like, I'm going to go back and check it out. And so it's just a cool way to get everybody to like, you know, find stuff out on their own, listen to things that are, you know, that they're finding online.
Or just make you excited. Yeah. Like, I can't tell you the last time that I've been this excited about music, which is crazy. And I feel like it's almost like a pre-pandemic. Like, I haven't been this excited to where I'm like, fuck, man, I have to go back and watch that music video. Like, it feels like the 2000s with TRL, man. I just am like Home Alone, man.
Yeah.
And I mean, arguably the music video, in my opinion, 11 out of 10. I love all of it. It's really his partner. I think they're engaged. And the two those are his little kids. Yeah. And they're just walking it out in this living room that looks like their living room. Man,
because Drake was trying to get in between them or say some stuff where he was going to be like, oh, Drake, you talked about this thing with my wife and this guy and we're breaking up now. Oh, boo-hoo. And they're like, sure, that's the stupidest shit we ever heard, bitch.
And
that's all you got. And now, like, it's just the digs, man. It's just so clever. So
my favorite part, honestly, is the beginning. And he fucking comes out with the Bay Area fucking slapper. And he's just like, woke up. And you're just like, I'm sorry. I thought I was watching this music video. Yeah. Right. And it's just like, it like brings out the child in me, this Bay Area music. And then he walks up and he's like, and guy's like, what's the password? And as soon as he said that, I go, oh my God. And the song makes so much sense because of the layers, right? And he goes, I see dead people. That's the password. It's again, sorry, I could go on forever. We could have an entire podcast about this, man. I feel so overjoyed.
Yeah. No, it ended well. I mean, if I was hanging out with Drake, I would just be like, yeah, dude, just stop. Like, I mean, I'm surprised Drake hasn't even like apologized or
give him his flowers.
That would have been the only thing. I mean, his last song that he had come out too, at the end of it, Drake was like, yeah, I'm really glad this happened because I got to push my pen, and, you know, and he had this whole like little 2-minute
outro.
He just ad lib about, he's like, you know, like, well, we did a good job, fam. I'm glad you and me had the thing. I guess we'll go, you know, back to doing what we were doing before. And, you know, it's not a big deal. No harm, right? And it's just like, dude, no.
Like dead in the water.
No. Like, just because you're acting like it's all done and no big deal, like, you were coming in it so hard before. And now you're just like, yeah, just push my pen. I'm glad we had a feud. It's just good for both of us. And it's like, bitch, no. Okay, no. So we learned a lot today. Talked about sexual health.
Yep. Make the appointment. Call and make the appointment.
Get your holes looked at.
All of them.
If you have a hole, get it checked out. Mm-hmm. For pleasure and for your health.
If you have an innie belly button or an outie belly button, get it checked.
Well, yeah, just don't wait. If you don't wait for something to happen. Get your screens. Mm-hmm. Get in there. If you feel weird, blood or anything weird, just go get it looked at. It's better to have somebody go, hey, not a big deal, than, you know, than it to be a big deal later. And we also talked about the Drake Kendrick beef.
Maybe more so if you don't even need to include his name. We just talked about unifying the West Coast in a musical, soulful level. You know, that was really good. Yep.
And we also talked about jacking your dick off. Jacking your pussy off.
Yes.
Tell your partner what you like. It's not that hard.
Or find yourself a girl like me and you get your dick sucked every morning with your lunch pack. Bye, guys. See you next week.
See you later.
Oh, do you have to clap?
Oh, yes. Ooh.
That was a good one.